gives me great pleasure to once again welcome you to this great Thursday afternoon where we are gathered to celebrate our literary work. We are here to give a pat on the back to some among us, those who have, despite or in spite of many odds against such ventures, to bequeath us and bless us with literary works that redefine us as a people. At this juncture, please allow me to invite the director in charge of editorial, publishing and operations, Mystery Publishers, who is going to introduce the 2022 nominated books, the criteria and why. We are here courtesy, ladies and gentlemen, of Mystery Publishers. Mystery Publishers have chosen to identify themselves with upcoming, budding, promising authors, those that want to walk the road of self-publishing, and they're doing it, or they're making that road fun and interesting for anyone that is keen to do self-publishing to walk, and that is this afternoon. So kindly, our director, Karibu Sana.
Welcome to Mystery Publishers, where at our core, we envision ourselves as the premier Pan-African publishing house of choice. Our aspiration is to not only celebrate the rich tapestry of voices across the African continent, but also to amplify them to the global stage. Our mission is to provide a platform for emerging African writers, creating opportunities for them to craft stories that not only entertain, but also inform and inspire. We believe in the transformative power of storytelling to illuminate the complexities of our world, foster connections, and drive positive change. So far, we have won 7 awards, we have 50 plus titles published, and 80 authors published from all over the continent. We have 20 plus students in our academy, and we have 30 plus partners working with us. So our services include self-publishing, print-on-demand and ebooks, audiobook publishing, editing and proofreading, manuscript evaluation, graphic and illustration design, book sales, marketing, creative writing courses, and Amazon publishing. So, for the purpose that we are here today, the Africa Redefined Indie Book Prize is a book prize awarded annually for the best independently published book, fiction, poetry, and creative narrative non-fiction. The prize is open to African independent writers resident in the continent and in the diaspora. The prize aims to recognize quality self-published books with unique and extraordinary stories addressing current and future Africa for books not more than 3 years old since publication. The selection criteria for the book prize. The first criteria is the selection of professionally published books at the discretion of the publisher based on the industry standards. The second criteria is that the books are selected by the panel of judges that are presented for public voting, after which a winner is announced and later awarded at a prize-giving ceremony. The selected books are evaluated by a panel of judges who check on aspects such as style, structure, as well as their adherence to the theme. The 2022 Africa Redefined Indie Book Prize nominees were 6. The 6th nominee, a military poetry collection of its kind, Echoes of Military Souls by Jerusha Kananu Marete, that shows the emotional aspect of our men and women in service, their families and the void they leave when they pay the ultimate price. It presents the nexus between war and women's experiences, the trauma of broken families from losing a loved one because of the war. The winner, at the end of a well-fought battle, the Echoes of Military Souls by Jerusha Kananu Marete scooped the win. Jerusha will be winning the prize trophy, and and the significance is that it's an open book of pages that takes the form of open bird wings, being signifying the Africa we want that is flying high. The base represents the foundation of Africa in our culture and arts, and there is a pen that is the stand, and the feet take the form of a pen, meaning that we are rewriting or redefining the African stories from the foundation. Thank you very much for listening to my short presentation.
Karibu sana, Mkadha.
Smile again, Katrina. Happy was she before the news. Laughter held her before her wars. She tumbled and tossed with her son while they played. When will Katrina smile again? How could such news pass her by? She hadn't got a wind. She had been playing with her lad. The breaking news broke her. There had been a serious attack in the camp where Kibi worked. Many soldiers were feared dead. She checked the list, her eyes misty. She was among the dead. He was among the dead, her Kibi. She broke down. She wanted to die. Her son thought it was a lie. On the floor, they sobbed. She grieved, mourning her man while forgetting her son. She locked herself in her room. Her life was all gloom. All of her was in tears. When will you smile again, Katrina? Her son sank deep into depression and tried to get his mother's attention. Katrina never got out of her room. Your son needs you, Katrina. When will you smile again? During the burial, her eyes sank back into the back of her sockets. Her mind far away. Her face a blank stare. A zombie. When will Katrina smile again? She went back into her room, broke glasses and whiskey bottles, fighting inner battles as she was slowly losing her son. Smile to your son, Katrina. Son sat silently in a corner, doodling his eyes, his room messy. He did not talk to anyone. Hot tears scalding his cheeks. Son needed Katrina. She was about to do the worst. She made a whiskey cocktail. A poison. She was tired. Her son was knocking at the door. Katrina, she cried, "Open the door, Mom. I want to sleep next to you. Why do you hate me, Mom?" He was sobbing. Come back to your senses, Katrina. She went to open the door. Her son was there. His nose was bleeding. She hadn't known he was sick. It was not time to cry. Her son needed her. "I am sorry," said Katrina. "Take heart." She administered first aid, but she was scared. "I am sorry, son," she told him. The son picked up the poison glass. He thought it was a soda. Katrina had forgotten about it. She knocked the glass from his hand. "You almost killed your son, Katrina." Her son was shocked. Mom had never been like that before. Katrina lay on the floor crying. "Stand up, Katrina. Your son needs you, Katrina." She knelt beside her. "Get up, Mommy. I am here. All is well. It is okay, Katrina. Put yourself together." She looked at her son. She tickled him. He tickled her back. They fancied the tickles and smiled for the first time in a while. She stood up, wrapped her son in a lingering hug. "Come here, little Kibi. We will get through this together," she whispered. Son imitated his late father. "You look good, Mrs. Kibi. Kibi misses you, but I love you more." Katrina is laughing again. Thank you.
When will you smile again, Katrina? And finally, Katrina is smiling again. A big and better round of applause. Yeah. That and many others in Echoes of Military Souls by Jerusha Kananu. Thank you. At this juncture, I'd like to invite Zuma. Zuma is the owner of UM Gallery, and they're part of the sponsors. They've sponsored the the prize trophy. The prize trophy is courtesy of Gallery. Please put your hands together to mkaribishe Zuma.
Hello everybody. My name is Zuma Maseti, a full-time artist and a mentor, among other things. And I thank Mystery Publishers for allowing us to partner with them. I designed the actual award, which will be seen, it will be unveiled soon, and also fabricated it. Gallery is at the Waterfront Karen. It's on the first floor. And we are the most unique gallery in Kenya, maybe in the world. We are the only gallery that connects the artist directly to the client, and the client directly to the artist.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst a very distinguished scholar. He is Professor Mohamed Bakari. He is a Kenyan scholar and a linguist. He was a professor at the University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, and the University of York, England, among many others. He coordinated the PhD program in cooperative literature in the Department of American Culture and Literature. He is a professor of linguistic and post-colonial studies at Faith University, Istanbul. And from 2018 to 2022, he was the Vice Chancellor of the RAF International University, now Islamic University of Kenya. And he's going to talk to us about the importance of book awards and prizes for African writers and books managed and run by Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in putting our hands together as we welcome on stage Professor Mohamed Bakari. Big and a better round of applause.
Why awards in the first instance? Awards have been given out for centuries, although it might not appear so now. But the awards were not really material in that sense. They were a recognition of the contribution of individuals to the literary cultures of the societies that they were in. And I think the most famous of this was the marathon race. So the winners were given what we know as the laurel. These were either the flowers or the leaves that symbolized achievement. And that is why we today talk of the Nobel laureate. So the term laureate actually comes from that. Somebody who's done something distinctive, something easy to identify. There are different kinds of awards over the centuries and over the years. And the most famous, of course, is the one that I've just mentioned here, the Nobel Prize. So we talk of Abdulrazak Gurnah as a Nobel laureate. And our own Ngugi also has always been mentioned, as a potential laureate.
At this juncture, allow me to invite on stage another great scholar. He is Professor Ngugi. Professor Ngugi has been here since before we rolled out the program in earnest, and he's still here. He has a lot of experience as a scholar. Right now he's at the University of Nairobi, and is going to share his insights as well as pertains to writing, publishing, and more so towards this great award that we are celebrating today. Please join me in putting our hands together to invite over Professor Ngugi.
It's quite some time since I came on the podium, but when I came inside here, the person who had invited me, a good friend of mine, who is not a writer, but a lawyer, a brilliant lawyer, I told him, you have brought me to a very, very unfamiliar territory. I have to say two things, not as a literary critique or something like that, but as a layman along the streets of Nairobi. Number one, you have broke down or demystified what is military. For those who have got somebody in the military, or you pass through the DOD, or any military barracks, it is all fenced and big walls. So you wonder, when do these guys go for lunch? They are so near Kenyatta Market, when do they come out and go for lunch? They never do those things. So you get involved in so many speculations. But Kananu has told us all those speculations are not. These people have got feelings, they have got souls, just like me and you.
Now, at this juncture, I'd like to invite Professor Mugubi. Professor Mugubi is the one that forwarded the book, Echoes of Military Souls.
Distinguished guests, esteemed literary and academic colossi, I can see quite a number in this room, and all lovers of poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today to celebrate the power of art and to honor the exceptional talent of Ms. Jerusha Kananu, the winner of this prestigious book prize. Before we delve into the significance of this remarkable achievement, let me start with an anecdote that highlights the unique power of art. They say that art has the ability to move mountains, and once I saw a painting so captivating that it made a stubborn mule forget its stubbornness. Such is the magic of art, and today we are here to celebrate the enchanting artistry of poetry. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mystery Publishers Limited for recognizing and supporting writers of artistic works. Professor Bakari said it's not easy. Most publishers would rather go for set books or non-literary works because they sell more. So your dedication as a publishing house to nurturing and promoting the arts is truly commendable.
I take this opportunity to congratulate my young sister, Jerusha Kananu Marete, for her epic work, Echoes of Military Souls. A reading of the book informs the reader of things which are hidden but ought to be known. Today, you will have the opportunity of reading the book and understanding what the message is for the continent of Africa. The book is self-published, and the question that is to be raised on an occasion such as this is whether self-publication contributes positively to Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism has gone through different phases. Those who are students of history will remember the epic works and efforts of great Pan-Africanists in the 19th century, such as Marcus Garvey, Sylvester Williams, W.B. Du Bois, and later the great Kwame Nkrumah, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, and others who, through their human efforts, contributed to the liberation of Africa. In those early days, we'll remember great authors who also contributed to the struggle. We'll remember the pioneering works of individuals such as Chinua Achebe. We'll also remember the works of Wole Soyinka and Ngugi wa Thiong'o, among others, who contributed to the Pan-African journey. Today, the spirit is not as enthusiastic as it was, yet it can be said that the spirit of Pan-Africanism is being rekindled. Yet there is a sense in which there is a dearth of literature that speaks to Pan-Africanism. In a world where publishing has been commercialized, many manuscripts are dead on arrival, rejected because they cannot be sold, legitimizing the question whether the route that is available for Pan-Africanists is self-publication. In the short term, that is the route. But I can assure Jerusha and other poets and other writers that the spirit of publication without expectation of profit is being rekindled, and that what they are doing is simply to remind us that at a certain stage we dropped the ball. We will not drop the ball again. We are going to ensure that we encourage young Africans to write, and we are going to institutionalize the process so that works which lubricate the engine of Pan-Africanism, works which lubricate and energize latter-day Pan-Africanism are given the oxygen of publicity, and they are not allowed to disappear in the black hole that neo-colonization creates.
My name is Aaron Regera. I am delighted to be with you this afternoon, although not physically. Were it not for the exigencies of duty, I would have been present physically. Reason is that I love literature. In particular, I delight in African literature, and I am one of the people who believe that we should always encourage our own. On this particular occasion, our own is none other than Jerusha Kananu Marete. If you allow me, I'll say one or two things about her book. From the first page to the last, Jerusha Kananu Marete's Echoes of Military Souls is a gripping roller coaster of the emotions of military servicemen, their comrades, their wives, their children, their lovers, and even their parents, which flow from the vicissitudes of battle and its aftermath. In all the 11 poems, a common humanity of those involved in or affected by military conflict is brilliantly depicted in various situations. Happiness, joy, love, embarrassment, sadness, and empathy come forth as being native to both the soldier and to the civilian in equal measure. This is an anthology that pays homage to the sacrifices of our men and women in uniform who keep the country secure so that we can enjoy our fundamental rights and freedoms, and the country can achieve its economic, social, and political objectives. The book offers counsel to soldiers and encourages them to soldier on even when some direct or collateral outcomes make sadness sadder than sad. I commend this amazing first-class collection of poems to all lovers of African literature, to all who don military uniforms worldwide, and of course, to all secondary schools and university libraries. I wish all of us happy reading. Last but not least, may I warmly congratulate Kananu Marete for the well-deserved literary prize which he has been awarded today. Thank you very much. God bless Kenya. God bless all artists.
I need to introduce the next speaker.
Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, that's Dr. Gameli, who is joining us virtually. Okay.
So I'll go by the previous protocols, acknowledging all the dignitaries, colleague writers and board members of the Book Award. I will go ahead to deliver this keynote from a little room in Cape Town in a guest house called Little Scotia. And I would like to take this opportunity of today's event to bring our attention to the fact that there is so much wisdom in our traditions. There is so much guidance in the folk tales our grandfathers used to tell us, for instance. And the time has come when we have to preserve those. We need to revisit all these values that we carry, whether it's in our language, whether it's in our songs, our dances, be it the clothing we wear, and all the creative, the indigenous creative talents that we have. I would like to quickly, I know time is gone, but I would like to quickly bring the focus back on Jerusha with this little poem I wrote for her a few months ago. And it's called Chiowambi. Arise, Chiowambi. Arise, Jerusha. Arise, Canaan. Arise. Become your mother's voice. Arise, Chiowambi, arise and resonate. Resonate your mother's moments and let her speak. Chiowambi, arise, arise, arise and show your mother's voice. Arise and let her moment stay. Arise, Chiowambi, arise and resonate your mother's compassion. Arise, let her memory arise. Arise, Chiowambi, arise and resonate your mother's generosity. Arise and let your voice ripple.
Our guests of honor, distinguished guests, friends and colleagues of Jerusha Kananu Marete, our hosts, the French Cultural Center, our sponsors, and all of you who have assembled here to participate in this event. I would like to greet you and thank you so much. To our own laureate, Jerusha Kananu, I say congratulations, hongera sana. I'd very much hoped to attend this event in person, but owing to last-minute hitches, I couldn't get away. But I'm delighted that I've been able to join you briefly and share with you the ambience and the joy of this occasion. My name is Austin Bukenya. formerly of Kenyatta University and currently of Makerere University in Uganda. This event is of particular importance to all of us in that, of course, winning a prize is itself a very important event in one's life. And I would like again to say congratulations. But also the event comes at a time when highlighting literature and other creative works is very, very important in our society, because there is a movement of people I call Philistines, people with no taste, no sensitivity, who are downgrading and disparaging the arts, including literature. So we have to use every opportunity to highlight, to underline and mainstream creative works, because they are necessary for the humanizing of our society. So I congratulate you very much, and I wish all of you success. Of course, one thing I should say, that we should support one another. Now that Jerusha has given us her books, like the winning book, Echoes of Military Souls, and her other books, and they're very good books. So Jerusha writes with a lot of courage and a plucky determination to present life as it is. But when our authors, especially the young authors, publish, please support them, because that is the way we can really put literature on the front burner.
Now, at this juncture, I'd like to invite another great man. He's been with us since the beginning of this great event. He's Dr. Muthomi Biankolu. He is a lecturer at the University of Nairobi School of Law, and he's a partner at Muthomi and Karanja Advocates. His research and practice interests are in public law, with a specific focus on dispute resolution, public procurement regulation, constitutional and administrative law, and international economic law. He is here to give his keynote address and insights about this event. With a big round of applause to Fadali, let us welcome Dr. Muthomi Biankolu.
I want to reflect what this publishing is all about, and specifically why Mystery Publishers has organized this award. It is one, we want to tell our own stories. Unfortunately, most of us here in this room were born at a time when someone else had already taken over telling the story of the African. I want to thank my sister for grabbing that microphone and saying, no, we have a mouth. We can speak for ourselves. These are our taboos. These are our values. These are our experience. This is our essence as African people. So one of the ideas around this award, the Africa Redefined Indie Award, is to recognize exceptionally talented people. Kananu being one of them, and being the one we celebrate tonight, to tell our stories. It is about celebrating talent. Because if we don't celebrate our own, no one will celebrate them. The British will not organize an award like this. The Americans will not organize an award to recognize our very best. The Chinese will not. Which is also to say, if we don't support initiatives like this, then no one else will. And our story will keep being told by foreigners who don't mean the best for us. What we mean by self-publishing for purposes of the award before us is not the literal sense of the word. You know, English is a bad language, where people say something and you think what it means is what it sounds, but it's something very different. What Mystery Publishers means when they tell you about self-publishing, and when they tell you Kananwe is one of the self-published authors, it is an arrangement in which the author meets the costs of ensuring the book that is being published complies with industry standards, whether it is in terms of quality, whether it is in terms of content, whether it is in terms of editing, whether it is in terms of page layout, typesetting, and whatnot. So Mystery Publishers is filling a void that the profiteers you heard PLO Lumumba talk about have refused to occupy because it doesn't make sense or rather economic sense for them. It is a difficult area to go into because it would mean that if an author is unable to sponsor or to pay for the expenses that go to editing and all those things I mentioned to ensure the book meets industry standards, then you cannot be sure to receive a work of a quality of the type that we are talking about. It makes it more important, therefore, for us to support initiatives like the one by Mystery Publishers, by purchasing this book, by purchasing similar books, and encouraging and celebrating those who stick out their necks, who have the courage, like our daughter, to do a work this phenomenal. Is that we should laud Mystery Publishers for offering others like Kananu, our daughter, fair deals. One, thank you for coming. Two, may rhythm and rhyme and alliteration and tempo and harmony that surpass all understanding be with you.
Big, beautiful trophy. This is the winner's trophy. This is Jerusha's trophy. Jerusha's trophy!
Those you know the story in the Bible of Jesse. There was this prophet who was sent to anoint a child in the house of a family of a man called Jesse. When he went there, Jesse was told to bring the son, and looking at a very handsome son, like some of you, there are so many people here, he looked at one of them and said, "This is the one, this must be the king." And he was about, but then God said, not that one. The father called the next son, and he was also good looking, big, tall, dark, and handsome maybe, but he was told no. And in order of seniority, the prophet called all the sons until the seventh, and the prophet is saying, no, not that one. The prophet got annoyed and said, do you have any other son? Could there be another? Maybe thinking God is making mistake now. Hapa Mungu anacheza. And said, there is another one tending to the sheep, the last born. And he was told to bring the last born. So the last born from nowhere came, not aware of his environs and wondering what is happening. And the moment the prophet saw David, the small boy, the anointing oil, as Kaume would say, almost jumped on its own. The anointing oil almost jumped from the prophets to go and anoint David. And I think everyone was worried. This is exactly bringing back to self-publishing. We have been accustomed to mainstream publishing. KLB, all of them. My manuscript, These Echoes of Military Soul, was rejected like 3 times before I resorted to self-publishing. So, ladies and gentlemen, so many great books with unique stories are out there taking dust from shelf because they are self-published, and the other is not the 7 sons of Jesse. But today the prophet could not sit down until Echoes of Military Souls arrived. The David arrived and the oil almost jumped out of it. Well, so these are one sets in motion, a journey of calling all great kings and queens from tending to sheep and bringing them to our deprived learning institution and all lovers of good books. The Bible says that the last born was old and good looking, that they did not remember. Maybe their great authors here have been mentored by great people, you've seen them. And under what tutelage I'm still in. And someone could be asking, why are there are so many who have authored? But the opening remarks of John Beatty's African Religion and Philosophy is that Africa is notoriously religious. From this background then, I acknowledge hard work, industriousness, network connection, fame, and then there is that which gives life to the aforementioned. It is which makes me stand here today, God's favor. That's why I'm here. It's not because I'm the best. We have big ones and the best, but according to what I thought is the best. And lastly, as I give my wera, then I say that I stand here to say this award is for every author who has always thought that the big names in the writing world were born big. It is a win for every young man or woman struggling in life, not aware of their abilities. It is for that self-published author, I saw Shiko somewhere, with a unique story that bleeds to be told. Yet the doors to let it out are iron-made and closed. But he or she keeps hitting the door until the fists bleed and does not resign until they have their story out there. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone has their story. Felicity, you have a story. Madam Kairichi, you have a story. Muzomi, the Ankolo, you have so many stories you're sitting on because of law. Each one of you has a story. Let us, Mr. Kuroko, everyone has a story. Let us tell our story. It is a painful journey because you have to spend to publish, you have to spend to sell, and sometimes you're not able, engineer, you're not able to sell, you give your books out. Those who marry others are endangered species because we are going to use family resources to publish books that will not be bought, and by the time we finish fighting about family resources, I have another book with the editor, and I'm coming again begging that we need to publish this one. And after I publish the second one, my third book is with the editor, and I know my husband is asking, when will you sell all these others? But the stories are dying to be told. Let us tell our story. Ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, from everyone, let me say thank you. Shiko, let me say thank you. God bless you. God bless all of us. Asanteni sana.
Good evening. We have something special we have prepared for the chief guest. A painting which is talking about African culture and books. I'm going to give the artists a short time to explain the painting to us, and then we invite the representative of our chief guest, who was CS for Education, is Honorable Ezekiel Machogu, so that we hand over this painting and he takes it to him. Kimani.
Thank you very much. I was given a challenge to make something in relation to the event. So I was given freedom to create, and I thought about how we gain knowledge over time. So I named the painting The Staircase of Self-Knowledge. You get that? The staircase of self-knowledge. So the more knowledge you gain about yourself, the more empowered you get. So specifically as Africans, we need to learn about ourselves, our history, where we are coming from. Our cultures are very important. They are very powerful. So we need to embrace who we are, and we can't do that without really knowing who we are. Okay? Then the story behind the painting, the fact that I used a woman for that. When we would make mistakes in front of our mothers, especially when you are kids and you're playing there, and your mother gives you that eye, maybe you're in a wedding, and then you just freeze, you know, and then your friends are wondering what has happened to this guy. It's because your mother always reminds you, when you make a mistake, she tells you you have forgotten yourself. Okay? So every time my mom will tell me, remember yourself. So the woman, Mother Africa, is telling us, know who you are. I gave birth to you, you need to know who you are. The story here is not activism through violence or anger. The story here is of a woman with love embracing who you are, telling about yourself. So where you come from, why I gave birth to you, and the impact that you need to have in the world. I believe that all cultures are relevant. Okay? So there is no culture that is lower than the other one. Never believe that. So as a Kikuyu, as a Meru, as a Luo, as a Luya, you are relevant in this world. And the world is waiting to see what you have. So let us use love, let us embrace who we are, let us climb that stair of self-knowledge. Self-knowledge will only come through reading, and that's why we are here this evening. So we are being encouraged to read about ourselves, tell our own stories, embrace who we are. We are powerful, we are relevant, and we are able to impact the world. Thank you very much.
So we request the Deputy Director of Education at the Ministry of Education to come to the stage so we receive this.